exhilarating. Enthusiast. Tonight, we spend Monday in a pack at Talladega Superspeedway. It's the third visit to Talladega for the GridVision Superspeedways and its respective drivers presented by First Coast Fleet Services. Tonight, it's the Grand National cars here on GridVision. Justin Prince, Brian Brent, Austin Jarby Shar producing as we get set for tonight's action for 60 laps here from Talladega. Tonight, expected to be an interesting one, not just because it's Grand National cars at Talladega, because plenty of new entries look to showcase their stuff tonight at this 2.66-mile facility, Brian.
Yeah, definitely cool to see some new drivers out here on the racetrack. Definitely see how they kind of work with the other drivers. Very different race car, though, than what we've seen, of course, earlier in the season, but also very different track temp. Very hot right now. 126 degrees track sign, so that's going to cause, I think, a little bit of some wiggles. We saw a lot of wiggles last week, so I think we'll probably get to see some wiggles this week as well to see, like I said, how are these new drivers going to clash with the old guard as we look at the points.
Coming into tonight when it comes to championship fight, Sean Boundy so far with the points lead. That points lead up to 15 over James South after Craig Jancek missed last time out. He is also currently not here tonight. So right now he looks to build a buffer. Meanwhile, Chad McGinley is currently 36 points back. Faison Shi at 37 back. Timothy Babcock rounding up the top 5. Of note, Randy Post making the top 10 for the first time last time out. Amongst those with 5 starts, Bobby Mantle the first in that category. But plenty of new drivers coming to Talladega today, and plenty to talk about, especially with those coming over from SSRO Cup Series competition. Keep in mind, on GridVision, it's a busy week once again. Some of the drivers from Champion in the race tonight, they'll be at Kentucky tomorrow, that at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Some of the drivers from the SSRO, as talked about, 9 p.m. they'll be heading to Atlanta. Talks about which Atlanta is still ongoing. And of course, the Major Series closes out its season at Silverstone with the British GP, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on GridVision. And keep in mind that is RGR on the Sunday with the closing of the GRL season and their championship last weekend, 9 p.m. Eastern, when it comes to the RGR Chase for the Kaiwu Class Cup from Iowa. One of 3 of 4 short tracks to finish the season. But tonight, in regards to the drivers coming in this evening, after starting off in the opening points race of the season, Justin Levine's back after his fight for the Cup title in SSRL. Scott Warren is also making his first start, one of the top drivers from Rodcar. Scott Wise also planning to make his first start up this season. Corey Silva also joining the series starting tonight. And Mike Burnett, the team principal for Back Row Bandit, he joins the respective drivers here with the entry list here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of new drivers out there. Heath Snyder, very talented guy. We're going to see what he's going to be able to do here. A lot of new faces. Loving to see this here. A new life kind of being breathed here into the GridVision body here. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, really hitting their stride here in the middle of the season. And now we got these new drivers showing up. I mean, what does a Sean Boundy do to maintain this points lead?
And better yet, how does he mesh with these drivers tonight, especially since several of the new drivers are super speedway specialists, you can argue. Burnett's amongst those that runs with his team on the super speedway side, as well as an SSRO competition. Heath Snyder runs in just about anything league-wise, especially when it comes to the Cup car. You also throw in the mix someone like Scott Warren, where he races in a series that primarily runs on ovals and super speedways. Here's a look at qualifying. It's Snyder and Levine on the front row. The difference about half a tenth. Then Scott Warren from Windsor, Ontario starts third. It's Mike Burnett in fourth. Sean Boundy and Christopher Burnham round out the top 6. Chad McGinley starts alongside Timothy Babcock. Bobby Mantle and Faison Shi round out the top 10.
11th place, of course, Mark McFadden. 12th place, Jared Murphy. 13th, Austin Runkle. 14th, Jonathan Platt. 15th, Corey Silva, I should say. 18th or 16th, Scott Wise. 17th, James South. And 18th, Randy Post. So definitely a star-studded cast down here tonight of characters ready to race, which we all have to keep in mind that the stage will be, I do believe, lap 25 going to 26 here this evening. No caution or anything, but there will be some points on the line then.
And keep in mind, it is a one-stop to get to the end on fuel expected for today. as we get all set to go. Once again, very hot racetrack. 2-time sun movement today, so keep that in mind in terms of the temperature progression. But when it comes to today, you have more drivers entering the field. Some of the top runners, in fact, in some competitions across the platform. Lots of expectations when you have Snyder back in the field, when you have Levine in the field, when you have a veteran of anything Superspeedway. All in the first 3 spots. How does this change up the complexion of how you win this race tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely going to be difficult for a lot of these drivers, and it could provoke some aggression from some of the drivers that are not normally in competition with these other very, very talented specialists, like you were saying. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I know a lot of times this Super Speedway series, a lot of guys are very aggressive either way. So do the even specialists make it to the end of the race, or do they try to line up and try to control and work together? I think it's going to be a lot of different dynamics and variables out here on this racetrack. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds for sure.
Of note, Scott Wise did not make the start for tonight's action. So he did not put in a qualifying time or a practice time either. So something has apparently happened when it comes to 31. We'll figure out what's going on later on. But in your opinion, I know it's hard to choose when it comes to tonight, especially with the different variables. Who do you think gets the win in this one?
That's a tough one. I mean, I just know. I think I'm going to go with Justin Levine. I feel like Levine has always been a very easy pick when it comes to these types of races. He's very aggressive, knows exactly when to make certain moves, and just a super speedway king in a lot of ways, a Pied Piper in a lot of ways. We see him week in and week out when it comes to these types of tracks. Really, just the Pied Piper.
After all, he has 1 start this season in this series and 1 win. Now, the talking is, looks to focus his efforts the rest of this year on these Monday nights to try and battle for Super Speedway wins. I'm very curious, though, how Heath Snyder plays things out. Already at the top of the board, was already one of those who kept it conservative in the practice, but he runs in a lot of different Cup Series leagues more so. Not sure if I've ever seen him in the Grand National car before tonight.
Yeah, I haven't really either. I'm curious to see what he does as well. I mean, I know that Justin and him are former teammates, so they could very well work together here as well. Yep. I mean, I'm sure they have a good history, and I don't think they're on bad terms or anything.
Remember, he's not amongst those who, over the summertime, actually joined Elliott Sador eSports and was a part of the drivers that now look to run on the Road to Pro program, in the Road to Pro program in trucks. They've been putting him in, especially in leagues, since the summertime. But tonight, he looks to control the field. Justin Levine gets up close and personal with his door as we get ready for the start. Glad to have you with us. GridVision Super Speedways from Talladega. We're underway here from Alabama.
And already we're seeing it pretty wide. I think I see Timothy Babcock already trying to make that 3rd lane work with Faison Sheikh. So already we're seeing guys starting to jump out. Now, one thing about this Xfinity car, much different than the cars we've seen earlier. There's not a lot of bump drafting, not a lot of physical touching in this race car. For the most part, it's going to be an aero push that we're going to see here. As you can see, the top line really starting to surge ahead on the backstretch.
A lot of bobbles, though, already from some of those back row pennant machines. We'll hold on for now. Burnham and Burnett, those 2 drivers trying to give the shove to Levine. The bottom line getting better momentum, though, to start.
And you can see those shoves. When you say shove, it's like usually you see in an next-gen car, there's actually a physical shove. These cars you don't really touch, so the shove is really just with the air, as the 38 definitely pushing really good onto the back end of the one of Justin Levine. He is clear to the bottom. Will he leave Burnham or will he stay with him? Looks like 2 clear now to the bottom. And it looks like Levine's going to ditch that top line.
As Levine, his first lap led since that opening season win all the way back in Atlanta. Now he finds work with Snyder. These 2, believe, worked together a little while back during some of the team shufflings in 2022. Now they look to work together in this race tonight. Already, some of the other drivers playing things carefully, unless you're Faison Sheikh, who's already gone up 3 spots in a lap and a half and wants to go up the middle.
Yeah, they actually Justin Levine and Heath Snyder used to be on the same team.
Yeah,
Hyperforce eSports, I do
exactly.
believe it is, and they were very talented whenever they were there. So, and of course, they developed a pretty good relationship. So, I would assume that's going to stick with it as we see that those back row bandit guys starting to work together. Is Timothy Babcock kind of working with them as well? Faison Schick, definitely still a fairly populated top line. That top line is going to definitely be a factor all night long here as we're getting ready to complete lap number 3.
Staying lined up astern. Levine holding on to the bottom. Up on top, it's Mike Burnett. Burnett joining his fellow teammates here today. He's a part of those drivers we talked about in SSORL competition. The boss man looking to see what happens tonight with the help of his group. After all, it was a rough debut for the team for many of their drivers outside of Burnham, who has decided to go 3 wide and has no help.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I mean, those guys definitely seem to be on the same team. I mean, they got very similarly painted race cars. You would think that Burnham would have stuck with Burnett, but that has drained all of the life out of that middle groove. And now I'm not sure exactly what the thought process was there for Burnham, if he just got a little bit greedy. If so, it was definitely not a good decision.
And all the shufflings, these things regroup here. And we talk a lot about the SRL. Keep in mind, Levine coming off a win in its final race of the season at Homestead this past Monday for the Cup Series. Its broadcaster for its Cup Series, mind you, Corey Silva, is currently holding on to 15th position. And he is a fellow sim racer, but also fellow broadcaster, as talked about. He's in the 94 tonight, staying at the back to start.
Well, how about that? That's cool. He gets to get out here and kind of stretch his legs a little bit here in race. And yeah, I'd love to hear that. I mean, hopefully we get a chance to interview and talk to him. We can hear that broadcaster voice. I never heard of him, actually. That's it's a small world when it comes to broadcasters, Justin. That's kind of surprising. Oh, big problems for the 89 of Bobby Mantle. Gets into the side of Timothy Babcock. And no caution flag.
Somehow we stay green despite 2 cars stopped on the backstretch. There it is.
And the caution flag is thrown. I think that was an admin thrown caution, and no wonder. I mean, that should have been a caution automatically. Big accident here. You see, right there. I think that was Burnham, or was that the 18 of Runkle? Got down into Bobby Mantle and just sent him up into Timothy Babcock, and as well, I think James South got involved. Scott Wise was not involved, but you see, Bobby Mantle has got some severe engine damage. He's gonna be lucky if he can make it to pit road.
Very hard lit there. 3-4 wide, at least 5-6 cars collected here. Mantle and Babcock both with mandatory repairs already. Technically Faison Schick, he can throw into that grouping since he lost his hood. On the bright side, this does help one driver. Scott Wise just joined the race right as they started piling up here.
Yeah, it looks like Austin Runkle just got a little too low. I mean, just got a little too low and just turned Bobby. Bobby couldn't have did anything differently there. That's got to be heartbreaking for Bobby. Look, he's got a fast repair. I don't know if anybody has been following the Global Racing Truck Series competition, but they just wrapped up their season. Bobby was one of the championship favorites, had the championship won until his teammate turned him on the last lap, so he has already got to be in somewhat of a heartbroken mood. And to have that happen here on top of it tonight, it's just you don't wish that on anybody.
I think that's the understatement of the year. Keep in mind, his teammates in the race tonight.
That's right. Chad McGinley.
When you get to that spot, what's kind of your procedure in terms of the organization side as we see pit stops here when you have a situation like that? Because it depends team to team, right? I've heard where if you even mess up the setup, say in the Coke level,
I think they're having some problems on pit road here.
Oh, whoa. Faison Schick. You're right.
I'm seeing guys kind of like missing their box. I saw somebody spin out, I do believe.
That was Faison, and yeah, there's a massive pile-up with Mark McFadden in the middle of the pit lane. What in the world?
Yeah, something went wrong on pit road there. But, I mean, I think it was a very similar incident to what we saw with Carson Hocevar. I think Corey Heim in the NASCAR truck race for real in real life. And it's just oh yeah, right there. The 43 of Platt, I think, turned McFadden, and right, oh my goodness, Austin Runkle gets his back bumper taken off. My word, front bumper of the 48 is well gone. This is just a bad deal all the way around.
And it's, for those wondering, it's not as simple as, oh, why? Well, 43 has to pit. I'm not sure what Runkle's doing. And that's what happens when you run the middle. He tried to give him a break. He had to pit.
Yeah. I mean, he had to come down. I mean,
Faison actually hit Runkle.
Yeah, Faison definitely turned Runkle after the fact. Runkle was reacting to this, I do believe. So not really Runkle's fault. He was just trying to avoid any contact with those two spinning race cars. But wow, it is definitely getting really interesting. But back to the whole issue with Bobby Mantle, I think he handled it really, really respectfully. He was very, very calm about the whole situation. We even interviewed him after it all happened. Because I mean, he was champion until he wasn't, and he got turned by his own teammate. And Chad was very remorseful. So that's something the team, of course, is going to have to handle. But I mean, from what Bobby was saying, Bobby was like, "Hey, he's still my teammate. We're going to just do like we've been doing, and next season, going after that championship title again." So I think he had the right mindset, and I think he's got the right mindset here today as well. I don't think this is going to. I was just kind of trying to play up the, I guess, drama a little bit. So I think Bobby's going to still be in contention here today, and he's still probably going to work with Chad. I think he's going to still work with him.
I mean, it's kind of a necessity with how the numbers play out. Mantle did come and get the fast repair along with Sheath as well. Scott Wise is 2 laps down in the 31. But in the race lead for the first time, this is Scott Warren. His first start of the season. We talked about the touch-on rock car, which is already, mind you, coming up to 400 ever events in their respective series. But it comes to him, he's 6th in that point standing for that series, in a series that features Matthew Zwack, Northeast Perry, Michael Cozy Jr., Tyler Gary of note. He's amongst those who is consistent in terms of getting top 10s on Superspeedways in their 30th ever season so far. His nickname, by the way, the Principal.
So he must be one of the admin types over there or something?
Well, believe it or not, he's actually a musician for a band called This Is War, period. That's been a band in the Windsor-Essex County region for about 10, 15 years now.
Yeah, I love that. That definitely, that paint scheme, This Is War, of course, referencing his band. That's really cool. But it's also perfect for Talladega because this is a war.
He is known as a veteran, actually, of the music scene in Windsor-Essex County with 2 different bands, rock bands, essentially, from the early years of the century. Lone Locust and Vultures are the 2 respective bands, if you know anything about Windsor music. I know that's very hard to say because, again, I'm kind of from Windsor, so that kind of helps on that front. But now, he looks to try and show what Windsorites can do. Green flag is out, underway, and there goes the launch. Like a traffic light on Old Lead Avenue, he gets the big jump.
Yeah, it looks like he's toying with going to the top. He kind of gave a little bit of a draft to Heath Snyder, and he jumps back down to the bottom. Of course, Sean Boundy going to draft his way up to the 76 machine. Boundy trying desperately to continue to extend his points lead. As we see Babcock, I think, a little bit worried. He jumps down to the apron to get out of the way and possibly fall back to the back here.
Especially since he's already gotten involved in one incident, might be the smart plan to try and save the fast repair. That inside line starting to build its numbers back up. Already, Snyder back to the bottom. Part of the team championship in SSRO Cup Series action for Hyperforce. Now he gets passed by Burnett. Corey Silva is already up to 2nd. Jared Murphy also falls on the train with the back row bandit machines.
Yeah, a lot of moving pieces right now. As you see 3 wide up top, the 38 of Burnham makes a big move. Justin Levine giving him some monster pushes right now. As we see 3 wide for second, could be 3 wide for first here in a second. It looks like it's gonna be.
Still trying to battle it out. Now Levine trying the tandem off the back of Burnham. Can they get that to work? Now it's starting to die off. No side draft pull from them. Snyder tries to clear on the bottom.
Also, Corey Silva, you were talking about him. He's in the fray as well, up in the top 5, sitting right there, smack dab in the middle of the middle line.
Finding some friends. Can he find his way up to the point? He thought about trying to go 4 wide for a second. That caused the checkup. That led lap going to Burnett. Communication already on the radio as Murphy bubbles. It's already Jonathan Platt and Austin Runkle have lost the draft.
Well, that is not good, and it could be as a result of possibly damage. Didn't want to maybe get their fast repairs used, or possibly being a little too cautious. Very easy to do so. This Xfinity pretty good at catching up to the draft with this car, but you know, with every race car, when you get to that no man's land, it's impossible. Especially with only 2 race cars, as we see the pack is just electric right now, with just movement. I'm telling you, this is a swarm of race cars all in one spot, and anytime that happens, there is a chance for disaster, a catastrophe.
And keep in mind, still halfway through this stage, still plenty of time to try and battle for stage points. Munsel's already back up here. Mark McFadden up to 10th. Scott Wise, despite being 2 down, he's not afraid to race as Murphy nearly spins it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stuff going on here. Murphy seems like he is just not handling well. I've been noticing that. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, if it's got something to do with the temperature of the racetrack. I know most of these drivers, I think this isn't a fixed setup series, so I don't know if it's something to do maybe with his inputs. One thing you can't control in these fixed setup series is the steering ratio, and the offset. So it could have something to do with that. As we see Burnham now in the lead of he is the Pied Piper. Seems like the middle group seems to be the best place to be. We've been seeing that trend over this whole season, but it looks like Burnham has decided to jump down. That's kind of interesting. You would think he would stick with Burnett, but decides not to. Snyder. I think we're probably a little bit confused because Burnham just decided to go down on the apron. I guess he doesn't like the temperature here.
Takes the lead, immediately drops back. He did get the lead lap last time by. That might be the thought. Now, it's 3 wide for the race lead again. Silva trying to control the bottom. Burnett has right now a small buffer with Jared Murphy helping middle. James Self pushes Levine up to the overall lead for now, though. The numbers seem to be up on the top more so than anything else. Sean Bounty has joined them up top, too.
Yeah, I really like this. I mean, you're seeing a really big team effort from those GridVision race cars. That they're kind of working the best together at the moment. Of course, you see, like you said, Levine, South, and Babcock all lined up together. They are trying to work together a little bit better. Oh, problems! Hey, Snyder, contact. Caution is out. Levine, I do believe, involved.
In our second yellow waves, Levine keeps spinning to the inside wall. And significant damage for the race leader last time by. And remember the swing of Jared Murphy we've seen several times already? I think he swung too much here.
Yeah, you see right here, the 33, I think definitely is the epicenter. Right here, just look at that. Just got all loose, couldn't seem to get back righted, and just came down into Snyder. Snyder was coming up a little bit at the same time, so you can't put all of that on the 33. But still, the 33 was moving a lot more, and yeah, that is just unfortunate. And nothing Levine could have did. I mean, he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You see, just look at that. I mean, he's not even really moving the wheel that much, but the car is just all over the place. It's almost like it's catching wind.
I don't know if I've seen that much ever, with that big sway from that little movement.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like almost like he had a sail on that race car or something that was catching wind.
In turn, though, Back under caution, coming up to 10 to go in the stage this time by. And remember, everybody already topped off at least once. Levine in position potentially to have to take the faster pair. On the bright side, Scott Wise avoided contact with that. He seems to be in line for a second lucky dog already. We'll take a break. We come back. The run up to the point mark here on GridVision. You're watching GridVision Superspeedways from Talladega.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of GridVision Superspeedways, where we spend your Monday in a pack. Just Prince Prime Britt with you as we get ready to the run up to this stage point mark. And right now it's Mark McFadden and Austin Runkle on the front row. Both of them electing to stay out this caution. Everybody else topping off or taking tires, or in the case of Brandon Post or James Self, more than a minute worth of damage repair. It's been an interesting one so far. Now, we'll see if these two can keep their cars up front here to get some points at the stage end.
Yeah, I mean, I know Mark McFadden has been running with us since the beginning of the kind of the start of the season. Now, Runkle has not been, so I don't know if he's really going for points or if this is like a strategy play, but it looks like all the back row Bandit guys are kind of lined up on that top groove, so this is interesting to say the least. But we'll see how this all plays out. Of course, the top two are on older tires, about 10 and 11 laps, I do believe, respectively. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. The only thing I think it will play really have an effect is on the launch.
Let's find out here. Many of the drivers on the bottom of the racetrack. That's because a lot of drivers topped off here during this caution period. Already looking at 43 run laps, and they're stacking on the top. She had contact with Murphy, contact as well with several others. Green flag is out, and the start and park in the corner and through the tri-oval causes some nose damage up top and breaks that line quick.
Yeah, that was really odd because, I mean, I would understand if we were like closer to the restart zone, but we weren't. So I'm wondering if maybe just somebody, maybe a knee-jerk reaction or something like that. As we see the top two, of course, being Mark McFadden and I do believe Scott Warren. Babcock trying to make it happen all by himself. I think he's going to get some help here soon from some of these macro bandit guys, as well as you see Chad McGinley working with Sheik on the bottom here. 3 wide. The macro bandit guys just do not seem to want to work together, as Runkle's getting just left high and dry here.
Burnett, one of the founders of this team, working with his fellow co-founder in Burnham. Jared Murphy, one of their team's development drivers, also up top with them. All those three trying to work here, get that line moving quickly here. All running down to 7 to go in the stage. Mark McFadden, he seems to have found a front for now with Scott Warren at least, up at the front of the 3 wide.
Wow, Runkle is really all over the place right now. So maybe I don't blame these guys for not wanting to work with him. He's definitely wiggling quite a lot. And this looks a lot like what the 33 had. Something about this middle group. Oh, he tries to jump up in front of the 29 of Heath Snyder. Almost cream Snyder. As it looks like the back row bandit guys all lined up again now.
You just can't do that in the corner, into the wall as well for Runkle. And Snyder already ditching him. 6 laps to go. Runkle all over the track up on the top side. Here comes the run from Babcock up the middle. He looks to try and get alongside Burnett for the lead. McFadden starts to drop back. Babcock has the momentum, though, with the help of James Self. Those two bring Sean Boundy and park the seas for the 34.
I'm really worried about the 33 and the 18. Both of these are very wiggly race cars. They're moving all over the place right now. Oh, and there goes Babcock. Down into, I think that is Mark McFadden.
Caution flag is out.
My goodness.
And going to be a couple lap shootout for points. This time, it was Mike Burnett after he got an off-center bump from Christopher Burnham.
Yeah. Oh, that was quite the hit.
Tepper's flaring.
I bet. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, but like you said, it was just a bad bump. I mean, these cars do not react to being. These cars don't like being touched at all. Yeah.
And well, the bump didn't help, but at the same time, they both came down.
Yeah, I'd like to look at the cockpit maybe of Burnham or Burnett. I mean, to see what exactly his wheel movements were looking like at this time, because I don't know if that could be explained completely by bump. I think they just all have a really he started coming down. And from his perspective, he probably couldn't even tell he hit him.
Yeah. See that view coming up? This was through the corner. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to iRacing, in many perspectives, they usually do have a difference to what the driver has in the offset. A little bit to the left. That coming into play, and looks like Mike Burnett has been parked.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that.
On the bright side, this gets drivers just about to the end on gas, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian?
Yeah, I think it's really, really close. I think the fuel window usually at Talladega is probably about 35. So 40 maybe. I mean, these Xfinity cars usually can make it a little bit longer, I think, than the other race cars. So I would say probably that they are very, very close.
So, Babcock, Murphy, Platt all staying out. Boundy tops off. Snyder behind him in the race. Then Warren, Sheath, Burnham, McGinley. Once those taking some repairs, Runkle, Levine, McFadden, Self Post. And guess who's on the lead lap? He missed the first 3 laps, but he's in it. Scott Wise is back in contention.
Yeah, I love to see that. And you know, it could have been a really a good thing for him to miss you know, the start there, because I mean, he hasn't really been in too much danger. So you know, now he's back on lead lap. He has just as much of a chance as anybody else to win this race. And just in time for the end of the stage as well.
Yeah. Decent timing. Well, not in terms of joining the session, or rather the track, but in terms of getting back on the lead lap right before you have to make it to the end on gas. Going to be a decent situation. Of note, Austin Runkle has picked up a black flag somehow through the pit cycle. So the 18, who had tried to let cars go before the pit lane, will have to come down likely unless he gets it cleared to serve a penalty under green. So it's been an eventful run all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, it definitely has been. I mean, it's been definitely one to remember, that's for sure. And we'll see how it kind of continues. I mean, will we get a good green flag run? I hope so. I really hope we get a good green run. Which a lot of drivers still trying to get damage repaired and things of that nature. So we'll see.
Already lights out on top of the iRacing pace truck, because everybody needs a pace truck in their world. And now, I'm not sure where Jonathan Platt is going, but he is apparently somehow on the top. And I think we've somehow gotten the iRacing glitch. Now, for those that are confused, what do you mean glitch? Sometimes when you have a wave around or a lucky dog or anything like that, the in-sim accidentally or somehow, I'm not sure the context of it, flips the field's running positions. So in other words, the leaders start on the top and the even numbers go on the bottom instead. We've got that bug, it looks like, tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Very, very curious to see how these guys play this out. I mean, just another thing to kind of throw us a curveball here in sim. We'll see how they handle it. I mean, of course, I really expect anything tonight after all that's happened so far.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen it in the league scene. It happened so many times in official races that it's surprising how rare it is this happens in the league.
I've never really seen it happen that much, so I guess I've gotten lucky not to have seen it.
I've seen it once a week.
Oh, wow.
So, again, Timothy Babcock is the control car regardless here, for those confused. It's just the car's supposed to be on the inside or on the outside. The cars on the outside are supposed to be on the outside or on the inside. Got that?
Yep.
The drivers hope to get the run and get those points in 2 laps' time. Babcock in control. Platt already on his bumper. Gives him the single and the signal. Off and away. 2 to go.
Yeah, I mean, Babcock probably likes it having to start up on that top anyway. As we see some big movements. Scott Warren jumping up in front of Sheik, and Sheck just decides to go back down to the bottom. They don't look like they want to work together, as it looks like Warren's going to possibly try to work with Heath Snyder, but no, Snyder jumps down to the bottom as well. It has been a mass migration down to the bottom line. Here we go, though. Moves to the top. Here comes Sean Boundy with Heath Snyder in tow. And there goes Platt. Platt jumps up, seeing the run coming.
Snyder not ready for it, Bobbles. Here comes Scott Warren. He doesn't lift. He goes 3 wide top. Coming up to the 1 to go mark for the stage points. Then it's the run up to the checker from there. Snyder already with some door damage from the earlier checks. Doesn't seem to matter. Now it's Platt working as the Pied Piper. Plenty of friends around him as Babcock loses ground on the inside.
Yeah, this is looking really scary. Big move from Heath Snyder. He jumps down to the bottom right in front of Babcock. And now is going to get to the back bumper of course, Jonathan Platt in that Chevy Blue, or in that Petty Blue machine. As well as we see still 3 wide. Scott Warren up on the top by himself, holding, kind of pulling Bounty back in a way.
Bounty has no help. Bounty wants the hole. Warren nearly tucks behind him. Jonathan Platt holds on to the point. Does anyone shuffle him out? Caution flag is out. Justin Levine wrecks at the back of the field. And that freezes the field at the time of caution. So it's Platt, Snyder, Babcock, Murphy, Bounty, Warren, Sheath, Post, McGinley. Self amongst the top 10 at the time of yellow. This is the caution.
I'll tell you, Levine has just been having a ton of bad luck today. He was my pick. I bet he's going to be like, Brian, you cursed me.
And that might be a race ender because he's had to use the mandatory repair or the fast repair at least once already.
Yeah. Of course, Randy Post just getting a little bit wiggly, and Levine trying to not have to check up the momentum gets involved.
Corey Silva also involved. He's just parked it for the 9 and the 94. He hit off the front nose. But Jonathan Platt wins the stage today. That's 10 more points to his tally. He was 9th in the points entering today. And he's been amongst those who liked to score stage points. Now, keep in mind, drivers can make it to the end from here. Drivers who stayed out, Babcock and Murphy, depending on what happens here and what everyone else does here, everyone might be able to just top off and go to the end straight forward from here.
Yeah, no, I think so. Here comes Babcock. I think he's deciding to come down. Okay, Platt, Heath, everybody's coming down for the most part. Sheik stays out.
This gets everyone safe. And Pierce Levine got the mandatory damage before fixed, but he did take the fast repair. He apparently had it in his pocket.
Well, that's good. Whew.
So it appeared he had used the fast repair in the previous situation. He didn't. Sheath, Mantle, Wise stay out. And everyone comes in for the top-offs.
Yeah, that's good he had that fast repair in his back pocket. I mean, wow. Because I thought that was going to be it for him. But now he doesn't have it. I mean, but, you know, a lot of drivers are starting to run into that situation where they don't have it. And the closer and closer we get to the end of this race, the more and more you're probably going to need it, because it's going to get more and more intense. It's Talladega, one of the biggest. It is the biggest and baddest racetrack on the NASCAR schedule. And most of the time, it's not when it's going to happen. Or not if it's going to happen. It's going to be when. And I don't think we've seen truly the big one yet.
Yeah, especially with how tonight can play out. We still have 15 on the lead lap and 16 still in the race. I'll have to keep an eye on how this plays out. But Sheath now back up to the race lead. Faison has really showed some growth as of late. 2 top 5s in the season. He's also been picking up a lot more stage points. He's quietly gotten 4, make it 5 top 10s in a row as well after having a lot of incidents before. He's cut them down for the most part as of late in terms of at fault ones since that infamous Daytona race.
No, yeah, I think that's definitely a very astute observation. I feel like Faison has done a lot better to grow and clean up his act in a lot of ways. Because, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody might have sat him down and like, hey, man, like, you know, you were driving over your head before, and now it seems like he's gotten a lot calmer, and it's leading to better results.
I was about to say, I mean, I did get a message from the team owner from them and said, yeah, he basically asked, I see my drivers embarrass themselves for the race at Daytona. It seems they've cleaned things up since then, the past few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think that when you're on
And
a
I
team,
say that as Faison's in the pace car.
he's just having some fun right now. Pace car lights are out. But you know, when you're representing a team, you gotta act with some sort of decorum. I mean, you know, you are the face of that team, in a lot of ways, especially if you have sponsors and things like that. So I think Faison just had to kind of be sat down and told that.
One till the restart. Again, races simply to the end here. No stage cautions, but that was for an incident, the racing constant. Scott Wise has now gone from starting dead last and from the pit lane 3 laps down to third.
How about it? I mean, I'm telling you, your luck can change in a matter of seconds here at Talladega. You never count anybody out at this racetrack unless they have just a destroyed race car. But yeah, he's definitely got a chance. I mean, he's up here, going to be battling for a podium here, possibly even a win. Well, you know how consistent I gotta give credit to Sean Boundy. Every time I look at this guy, he's in 4th place. Like, what is going on here? He qualified 4th and has been 4th every time I look at him.
Ready for the restart again, and Sheath, the race leader, his first lap sled of the night. Bobby Mantle's in second. Scott Wise, the 6-year Air Force veteran, in third. Sean Boundy, the series points leader, in fourth. Hugh Snyder of Elliott Center eSports fifth. Timothy Babcock in sixth. Jared Murphy in seventh. Chad McGinley is back in eighth. James Self, after getting several minutes of repairs, he's still got back quarter panel damage to the right rear, in ninth. Christopher Burnham is in 10th. Of note, others such as Scott Warnett losing lots of ground in the pit sequence, dropping as far back as 12th. Justin Levine, he's in the race and just caught up to the pack right now, and nearly rear-ended Randy Post catching up to it. All set to get back underway. 32 laps to go here on this Monday. GridVision Superspeedways, we're back underway.
Yeah, a little bit early there for Faison. I don't know why he went a little bit early, but bottom line is probably going to catch up to him very, very quickly. He does have room to get up in front of Bobby, but I don't think he's got, not too late. Bobby Mansell now going to get a big run up on that top side, but here comes the 31 of Scott Wise to kind of get Faison back up to speed as they fall down the backstretch. Lots of wiggles throughout this pack as you see Babcock moving around quite a bit. Oh, he comes down into Faison, sends Faison into the inside wall hard. Front end off the race car. Yellow flag has not come out. And it looks like we're going to stay green. Faison just got ejected. And no fault of his own either. That is just unfortunate.
Yeah, surprised no caution. That is a 2-car incident, mind you.
You see right here, Babcock thought he was clear, but was not.
In what context did he think he was clear?
Yeah, he was nowhere near clear. 3 wide, though, for the lead as we see Sean Boundy, of course, on the bottom. The 38 of Burnham in the middle, as well as Bobby Mansell up on the top side. So a dogfight happening right now for this lead. Looks like Boundy's up on top right now with Scott Wise giving him some really good pushes.
Faison out of the race now as a result of that. Mansell repairs and a tow.
Man, that is a heartbreaker.
That is not what the 15 needed from that. Still battling for the lead, though, for the time being. Halfway in the race this time by. Boundy leads the inside. Burnham leads the outside. Couple rows deep now at 2x2. And Christopher Burnham, like last time out, trying to control lines. Jonathan Platt says, no thank you, I like Justin Levine.
Yeah, they got a massive run as well. Levine, of course, one of the best pushers, I'd say, on the service. Giving some really great pushes to the 43 machine. Keep in mind as well, you know, that 43 machine. Usually Eric Jones, who drives that car in real life in the Cup Series, always a great super speedway racer. But Platt definitely, I think, being a very good example, or should I say a parody of that.
Yes, indeed. It's more so one of the older cars I think he's towards tonight. Towards one of those, I think, in the 70s or maybe the early 80s.
Yeah, I think probably the Dodge Daytona, I do believe, probably.
see that with the cubic inches on the motor in terms of that, not the exact formula, but it's petty blue, and it's a petty paint scheme. Probably found on Trading Paints.
Looking good either way as he, of course, gets clear down to the bottom with friend Justin Levine. Let's see if the top line can make some moves. Oh, looks like a big move from Burnham. Tired of following behind Levine. He jumps in front of Wise.
Still poking around a couple lines around. Up on the top, Babcock again. Too much to do for the time being. But yeah, for the most part, this is award the calm of the storm. It's been not a calm night for most of it, though. A few more woe situations as the outside line gets momentum. As touch upon the 31, having to come back from several laps down. Oh, some more troubles as now he nearly cuts to the inside.
We got some major blocking going on. Jonathan Platt is not cutting the 38 any breaks. I mean, every place the 38 tries to go to get by, Platt's there. He is just making that car 5 wide all by himself. That could have easily been a crash.
You have to be pixel perfect if you're going to make blocks like that. There's no doubt about it. Simple as that. You need to be on point. If you take too late of a move, you could potentially take the field with you.
Well, I know he's a real-world spotter, so I'm assuming he's got some sort of experience when it comes to being picture perfect when it comes to making moves.
Not able to get fully up to that top now. Now it's Scott Wise with the push. Most of the field in this pack of those still running, including Runkle, who's laps down. 2 by 2. This is right where this inside line, though, has been able to build momentum. You see the push with Levine. Now he's trying to play the Pied Piper. And Christopher Burnham doesn't like the Pied Piper method. He nearly tries to go outside. Instead, he'll lose ground.
Yeah, Burnham is not willing to push him, and I kind of don't blame him. I mean, Platt's playing games. No problem.
James Self into the grass. So is Mark McFadden. No caution. We stay green as McFadden spins it.
Yeah, that's going to possibly cause him to lose drive. I think South might be okay.
There's the caution. And that one does draw a caution. This is why.
Oh, the 33. 33, he's been wiggly all race long. Jared Murphy just wiggles down off the bottom, comes down into South, sends South down into McFadden. Just a chain reaction.
That team meeting's going to be very fun from Back Row Bandit after this one.
Yeah. I'm telling you. They're definitely going to be... I think there's going to be some tempers on both sides flaring. That's for sure.
And we're under caution. It's Scott Wise, who I think is trying to prove he wants to be the leader. It's Jonathan Platt who's actually the leader, by the way.
Love that AC Delco paint scheme there. Yeah, hopefully he can be Wise. I mean...
He is a subcontractor these days as a window and door installer in the state of from Indiana, or his nickname is Indiana. He's from Illinois. I'm not sure how you get the nickname Indiana from Illinois, but that's his nickname.
Maybe he's from there. I don't know.
No, he's from Illinois.
I don't know.
And it looks like Platt and Levine want to go to the back. Remember, they are all good on gas here. This comes back almost to the thought of the downforce. We talked about this in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the weight in the back with the fuel tank. I almost wonder if they're thinking the same thing again, because all but 4 just came down the pit.
No, I mean, it could very well be. I mean, you said it. It was a noticeable difference in speed. I mean, just like you said, just a couple mile an hour is worth it, right? I mean, so I think that's what the thought process is here. That they just go down to kind of get that back end squatted a little bit better, just to have a little less downforce. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know if I want to be in the middle of this pack. But they maybe, and they also could be trying to do it as well to maybe get out of the danger zone. But I think being further back is going to just put you further into that danger zone.
I mean, it's kind of towards the philosophy of, do you want to be at the front or the back? There's a very difficult part of that when you think about it, though. Because if everybody wants to be in the back, somebody needs to be in the front or vice versa. It's not as simple as, okay, 20 cars is the back, one's the front. We're good.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's the same kind of concept as whenever NASCAR had the open qualifying. It was like everybody wanted to wait until they can get a group of cars. It's like,
yeah, and then you have no one set a time. That was fun. Yeah, who knew that would happen with the draft-dependent package? That was obviously changed quickly. Let's take a quick commercial. Under 25 to go here on GridVision. You're watching GridVision Superspeedways.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's action of GridVision Superspeedways, presented by First Coast Fleet Services. Justin Prince, Brian Britt, Austin, John Bishar producing as we get ready for the restart. Scott Wise, how about that? He had missed the start of the race, missed all practice, missed qualifying, lost 3 laps, got 3 waiver rounds with early cautions, and now for the first time today, he's the leader. He, Sean Bounty, Heath Snyder, and Jared Murphy all electing to stay out here. Everybody else, with the exception of Runkle, electing to pit. Runkle taken away. We're back underway. A clean launch for Wise. Who can he work with is the question.
Yeah, it looks like, he's probably going to get drafted up to fairly quickly by Heath Snyder on that bottom line, but now the top line's going to have the momentum down the backstretch. We've seen it time and time again at this racetrack. It's up, a little bit some wiggling there. Looks like the 33, I think that's Jared Murphy, decides to jump up to the top with his teammate, the 38 of Christopher Burnham. So 3 wide. But look at Heath Snyder, man. He is pushing the 31 very successfully.
In turn, though, the top line doesn't have enough momentum yet. It's now becoming the soccer hole up the middle almost, because no one wants to be in the middle.
Yeah.
And now
wide.
Oh, that could get tricky as that drops and shuffles Jaron Murphy. Time being, though, 3 wide, dropping James Self and company on back. Now, there was a lot of discussion, it should be worth noting, involving the 21 in the situation of the DQ involving the issue of Mike Burnett. Hearing that there is the potential of points penalties and significant penalties to the 21. That will be talked about at a later date amongst the race control side. But that is the current word based on what happened there, with Burnett still supposed to be in this race. Now, in terms of the race right now, we come up to 21 to go. Burnett's drivers are right now quickly in the thick of this fight. Burnham, once again, has a strong shot to win this for a second straight week.
Yeah, that'd be great to see him win it. And, at least be carrying the torch there for Burnett, So definitely unfortunate how that all kind of unfolded. But the race, of course, still hot and ready to go as we get closer and closer to 20 to go. Scott Wise up here in the front for now. Boundy, though, flirting with taking that lead away up on that top side. Big runs with the help of Chad McGinley. Telling you, fantastic job from our producer. The camera work, just A+ here tonight.
Yes, indeed. Coming up to 20 laps to go, though. Who can get an A+ on getting to victory lane? After all, it's a must-pass test. You don't get to victory lane, you don't get an A+ on the test, I'll say that.
That's right. Yeah, that's definitely right. And still, I mean, you're not seeing one of these lines is not really edging ahead very much. It seems like both lines very, very equal right now. Chad McGinley, very capable pusher, as well as Heath Snyder, very capable pusher. So it seems like, some wiggles there. Snyder all over the place. I'm telling you, these Xfinity cars are so wiggly. I mean, they are not stable. They float around a lot more over this racetrack, a lot more than we see in the NASCAR truck or the next gen.
I mean, they do bobble a lot. All the cars do at Talladega. There's an argument to be made, though. You almost have to be gripping the wheel to the point where your hands turn red, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, even white. I mean, that's why they call it white knuckle driving at Talladega.
And if you aren't white knuckling it, guess what happens? The bubbles.
Yeah. I mean, these cars definitely they're a handful at every track you take them to. I mean, the Xfinity car is not an easy car to drive. I almost think they should be A-class considering how difficult they are. But man, I'll tell you, a lot of the real racers in the sim, they can be found in the B opens, in the B class, B fixed. I mean, that's the hardest, one of the hardest series in the NASCAR side.
I mean, it's not, in terms of the way they race, it's very different compared to the Cup side. I mean, the reason it's B class is, well, it's the second highest stock car racing series. But you can argue that all three different types of NASCAR stock cars these days in real life require completely different skill sets.
For sure.
You can't take the skill set from the truck to the Xfinity / Grand National cars. You can't take the Grand National car up to the Cup Series because they're all not even the same body type, let alone racing style anymore on any of the tracks, it seems.
Yeah, no, and then when it was Gen 6 for the NASCAR Cup, it was very similar to the truck. That's no longer the case. The Gen 7, the next gen, is vastly different than the truck now. So, yeah, you're right. It's hard to translate the different race cars. And even though we're at Superspeedways, that still is, I'd say, a veritable for these drivers. You see Sean Boundy leading that lap here. Now 17 laps to go. It seems like for the most part, everybody is calmed down. I think a lot of these guys want to get some laps turned. But watch out. As soon as we get closer and closer to 10 to go or 5 to go to 2 to go, it's going to get wilder and wilder.
By the way, so far tonight, half the field has led laps. Boundy right now tied for the most laps led with Platt. Burnett leading 6 early. Levine 5. McFadden and Wise 4 along with Warren. 3 for Sheath and Babcock. And 2 for Christopher Burnham. So those amongst the lap leaders, a lot more diversity in the lead laps compared to some of the earlier races this season, keep in mind.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I think a lot of that probably comes down to more numbers as well. Having a little bit of a bigger field tonight allows more runs to be generated and for more guys to lead laps, I'd say.
Yeah. By the way, last time by, it went to Sean Bounty again by 1,000th of a second. But we still have 15 and a half laps to do things. Right now, the comp before the storm period. The main grouping, right now, 12 within about a car length of each other. You just have Scott Warren still in the draft, but you have Randy Post again losing draft right now with Austin Runkle. Looking like a 13-car battle for the win if things shape up. I still don't understand, though, how Randy loses the draft so easily each week. He was zipped by like nothing by Warren.
Yeah, I don't know. That's definitely very curious. I have no clue. Very difficult to lose a draft. I think you got to be trying to do that in order to do it, essentially. I mean, well, I've been watching this this top and bottom line. They have not really had anybody. They really haven't stood out very much here so far. I mean, Scott Wise edges ahead, and then Bounty edges ahead. I think, like you said, 1,000. That's very, very close. So if Bounty even can win by 1,000, that'd be good. It just shows the top line. It's just a smidge better, but not very much. And of course, as we get closer and closer to the end of this thing, we're going to start to see, I do believe, more sign drafting being in effect. We haven't seen a whole lot of that here so far. We've seen 3 wide and stuff like that, and side draft comes along with that, as Bounty leads it by a country mile that time.
Under 14 laps to go. Oh, by the way, the big orange truck in the infield, you're now hearing, has 5 different calls to report. So that's going to be a fun time. We'll touch upon that during the post-race in this one.
Yeah, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Hey, have you ever heard of the big red truck in the infield?
I guess not.
Really? NASCAR 2000 from the 2000s?
Oh, big problems at 33. Hard into the outside wall. Jared Murphy.
And
massive collision.
And that's a bandit machine getting brought around with the help of Scott Warren.
Wow, that was a violent hit.
Warren's already in the pit lane. And mandatory repairs for Murphy. Murphy's already towed the car from the blown motor. Tempers. They all fly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that is a massive hit on that wall. See the 76 right above the 33. Let's see exactly how this happened. Well, I mean, I got to be honest, the 76 really wasn't moving down. I mean, he was holding his line. I think what really happened here, I think the line that the 33 was following moved a little bit, and he was following that line right here. See, he was following Platt. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's 2 drivers fighting for the same real estate.
So when we're under caution, Scott Wise, now the race leader over Bounty at the time of yellow. There is some talk about, of course, the setup, how things have played out tonight with the bobbles. And again, it is a car, mind you, where if you try and change lines aggressively, if you try push too hard, you'll see the bobbles. We've seen that in open competition before. We're seeing it tonight here with the setup. Everyone's on the same set, mind you, for tonight.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, of course, it is a Reaper fix set as well, and those guys definitely do a fantastic job setting these race cars up. So, you know, I mean, so it's not the iRacing setup, so, you know, and they could have also, you know, this is a league they want to kind of probably make it a little bit challenging. I wouldn't be surprised that they made these cars a little bit more difficult to drive, just to kind of to throw a little bit of a curveball to these drivers out here, these competitors.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of part of the thought is, do you want a setup where it can just press the gas and say,
Yeah.
let's go left? No. I'll take comparison from, say, Winsdale, which runs with the Gen 4 car. They spend weeks making setups that are not only difficult to run, but also don't have that difficulty long term if you know what you're doing. And allow drivers, all drivers in fact, as many as sometimes 10, 15, 20, to allow to give feedback on the set to make adjustments to where it has a consensus base.
Yeah. Well, definitely, that's got to be a little bit odd, kind of working on a setup to make it more difficult to drive. But then, like you said, to kind of also have it in the same regard be better, not to be undrivable.
Exactly.
It's definitely a conflict. But, no, Reaper does a fantastic job. I haven't heard too many complaints at all. I mean, definitely making it a little bit difficult. These guys, and I think a lot of the handling woes that we see as well comes down to steering ratio and the offset. We've seen that plague a lot of drivers here tonight, and I think a lot of guys are probably learning some lessons as well, what works and what doesn't.
So again, under-paced laps, coming up to about 10 to go when we get the green flag back underway in this one. Let's revisit things. Who do you think's got this?
Well, I definitely got to change my pick. I think Levine is probably. Well, I mean, he still has a chance, but he's very much deep in the field right now. I don't know. I mean, I got to. I guess probably a lot of people are going to give me flack for this, but revising my pick, I'm going to go with Bounty.
He is up to second. I still like Snyder. But Scott Wise seems to be making friends more than anything. Interestingly enough, he's one of the few drivers that is running on his own in terms of the alliances per se, but it's working with what we've seen tonight.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about it. You can be an independent driver as long as you're friendly with everybody else and you don't do anything too egregious. Guys will be willing to work with you. I mean, nobody's too picky. Now, when it comes down to the last lap, that's going to be a little bit of a different story. But, I mean, no, if you're fast and you're stable and you're predictable, no one's going to have a problem working with you.
Continue to work through this one.
As we file down the back stretch, getting ready to get this thing back underway, as we're going to have, I do believe, 10 laps to go, a 10-lap shootout here at Talladega. It's been an entertaining race here tonight, that's for sure.
A wild one for many sakes, but it comes down to 10 laps of action. Scott Wise says hello to Benny, the pace car driver. Right now, at the moment, 14 drivers with a chance to win this race. With how things have played out, Jared Murphy still out of the race after the incident. Most recent.
Yeah, he definitely had a bad deal with that. Of course, Scott Warren, who was the other driver involved, got away fairly easy.
All set to get back underway. Wise, Boundy, Snyder, McGinley, Babcock, and Mantle. Green flag's out. Back underway. 10 more laps to go.
Yeah, fairly calm start. Scott Wise up to the gear. Seemed like he had some pretty decent help from Heath Snyder. Didn't really jump it too much. But Boundy has got the aid of Sean Boundy. Or aid of somebody. I mean, Chad McGinley. Can't help yourself. But big run here on the top. And we've seen it all night long. This top line on this backstretch is going to surge ahead. But not quite as much this time around. I don't think McGinley was up to the 34 as much as he could have been. But here comes look, you see McGill, or not McGill, I'm sorry, Mantle joins up there on the top line, as well as you see Burnham as well. But Heath Snyder doing a fantastic job pushing to 31.
Wise making all the friends. No move out to defend on Boundy. Boundy has a run from McGinley. Bounty looking to try and find himself to victory lane here tonight. So far for Sean Bounty, yet to get a win despite being the points leader. Is this the night? That changes. He now gets ahead, but no move to get inside. Wise keeps it inside.
That is an interesting stat. I did not realize he has not won one. We see some big wiggles there on the bottom line. Heath Snyder moving all around, as well as Scott Wise.
And keep in mind, you were saying?
I was just going to say what our producer just reminded us about, that he did win the test race, but that was not a points race.
And that was a wild one in the first place, that respective test race.
Unlimited fast repairs definitely makes it that way.
Bounty has a push. Now McGinley trying to push him forward. Now down 8 laps to go.
Whoa, 4 wide.
Oh, Burnham, what in the world? He holds on to it somehow.
Oh,
we're still green.
Goodness.
This isn't going to be pretty.
And here we go. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. The big one.
Caution
and the
is
yellow
out.
flag. Oh, my goodness.
You can see it coming.
I mean, you can't maintain 4 wide for very long, that's for sure. They were beating and banging like bumper cars out here.
Well, 4 wide works at Dega, not when you're using 3 lanes at most.
Yeah, I don't think the 76 knew they were 4 wide. Didn't give them a whole lot of room. 38, and I do believe that's the 89, just bouncing off of each other. And unfortunately, Heath Snyder, he was holding his line on the bottom, but that didn't really matter. Just everybody just drives right on into it. You see James South just driving right into this. My goodness.
It took a lot of drivers out. Ruckel, South, Murphy already. Oregon, Platt, McFadden, Warren, all mandatory repairs. South nearly set up and over.
Yeah. He almost became one of the Wright brothers there. Taking off.
And now, how many drivers have faster pairs?
It's a very good question.
Only 8 cars left. Not in the pit lane here, by the way.
Yeah, we talked about when the big one was going to happen. Well, that was it. I do believe that was the big one right there. I mean, we talked about as well earlier that the closer we get to the end, the more aggressive these guys are going to get, and I think that was exactly what that was just aggression, pure and simple. 4 wide, they were pinching each other, weren't giving each other enough room, and the dominoes fell the way they did.
Would you like to revise that pick now?
Well, I said Sean Bounty. He's up front right now.
Well, it's a good pick now. It's a really good pick, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, though, being in front towards the end is probably sometimes not the best place to be.
It's been that type of a day, hasn't it?
Yeah, being in front for that crash, though, was good because, him and Scott and McGinley, they were able to avoid really being in that. But coming to that last lap, coming out of 4 on that last lap, I don't know if I want to be in the lead.
And based on the numbers here, who's been able to pick up faster pairs? Heath Snyder. That's it. Everyone else already used him.
Justin Levine as well. He's in that whole deal. He actually, I think he actually avoided a lot of the mayhem that could have been. As you see right there, look at Levine. Ooh. I think he was really good on the brakes. He could have easily got into that a lot worse. He might have some front end damage. I was wondering because Levine is still up here, and I know for a fact he doesn't have a fast repair, so I'm curious. Looking at Levine, because this all broke out right in front of him. You can see South is right behind him. Yeah. Look at that. Levine, I think, got out of that pretty clean. Really good on the brakes. You got to give him a lot of credit there.
Extremely lucky as well, though. if he has any more speed, he's getting walloped.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, there was a brick wall right in front of him, and he was about to speed right into it, but was insanely good on the brakes, his reaction time. I mean, Levine's been on this service for quite some time. He's one of the best guys out there that's not a pro. So, I mean, he's got the wreck avoidance. So, and I think that he used a lot of that experience right there.
So again, coming up to 5 laps to go.
Yep, going to be a 4-lap shootout here.
It's been a attrition-filled past while. Does this work out for anybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to work out for somebody. Somebody's going to win this race, whether they're got a broken race car or not. I mean, somebody's got to win this race. And at the moment, 7 drivers, I do believe, have a chance. I mean, Bobby Mantle, of course, is trying to catch up to the field, but he's got some front-end damage. So, I mean, we'll have to see if he's going to be able to have any sort of chance. I don't know if that car is going to lead very good, but he could be okay in the draft. But he hasn't even caught up to the field yet. I mean, they're following down the back stretch. He's still on the front stretch.
I'm almost wondering if we're towards the point where Benny the Pace car driver gets a second career iRacing league win. I'm not joking. Remember, League did that a couple weeks ago, and that made some headlines. Right now, we're almost at the verge of that happening if we have another big incident. So don't count it out yet. I joke.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it's possible that we don't see anybody cross the start-finish line. It'll be a race to see who can get the mandatory damage fixed.
Do a hacky sack race.
Be like the I recently watched this movie again. Of course, everybody knows Talladega Nights. Get out and don't have a foot race.
No, to differentiate, we'll do hacky sack race or something. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Let's do race cars. Sean Bounty, Scott Wise, Chad McGinley, Timothy Babcock, Randy Post, Justin Levine, and Heath Snyder, all with chances to win it. We're back on the way with 4 to go.
Yeah, bottom line really got a good start. Top line, Wise just did not get going. Very unorganized. See Chad McGinley jumps up in front of Wise along with Bounty. And it looks like, I think, the bottom line, Randy Post. Look at him up in the top 4.
Now block off McGinley wanting to poke. Bounty trying to hold him off. Everyone else committing to the bottom. Lots of bubbles on the inside. Here comes the momentum. Babcock ditches the inside. Everybody else ditches the inside. Coming to 3 to go.
Yeah, we'll see if we make it to the white flag. The energy I'm seeing right now looks like a lot of these guys are definitely lost the give and take portion of the, they definitely are all take right now. 3 wide for the lead. And I think Babcock going to lead that lap.
Yes, it does. Now can he get himself the lead on the last one? Bounty has momentum inside with the tandem. And a wide works better. Levine as well as the checkup from Snyder. Oh, and Post is wobbling on the inside. Near contact as they hold on.
Yeah, this is definitely a lot of high energy right now as we get ready to come to 2 to go. Still 3 wide for the lead. No one really edging out too much. Wise, of course, looking good on that bottom side with the help of Post. Of course, Post very much wiggly, but still doing a good job, a decent job as we see now. Bottom line is fell off a cliff all of a sudden. As Babcock once again leading that lap.
More weeble wobbles. There's near contact for the wall. Under 2 laps to go. Bounty has a big push from McGinley. Here comes Jonathan Platt. He slices and dices up to the front.
Jonathan Platt's 2 laps down. He has no dog in this fight.
I mean, it's about crossing the line first sometimes. But how does this play out? Other lap cars, do they join into the fun? Burnham's doing so, in fact. He's up to the white flag this time by.
And it looks like we are going to take it.
1 to go this time by. It's Babcock getting a push at the 1 to go. Brought to you by Reaper Speed Lab. Levine now gets help from Snyder. The tandem up top. Babcock trying to hold off Bounty.
They fall down the backstretch. Who is going to be able to take this victory? Levine getting a big run with the aid of Heath Snyder up on top. This is going to get wild. Babcock goes from the top down to the bottom.
3 wide. Does anyone get the advantage? Babcock gets help from Platt. Levine a harder shove from Snyder. McGinley tries to help Bounty. Coming to the checkered. The slam for Platt. They start wrecking. 3 wide. Who takes it? It is
Levine, I do
Justin
believe.
Levine.
That was so close. Wow.
14 one-thousandths of a second.
What a finish. What a finish.
Good finish to what was a very interesting one. And it all just came down to which one of those lines would take it.
Well, I think it was who had help. And I think Heath Snyder towards the end was kind of giving a little bit of a push there. Arrow push to Levine, and that is what kind of sent him ahead of Bounty. But still, good points day for Sean Bounty.
But in turn it is Justin Levine going 2 for 2, Brian.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I changed my pick. I picked Levine earlier in the race before the race even began, and I changed my pick. I am just, Brian, what is wrong with you?
So he gets to celebrate here today. Justin Levine, his second win this season. He gets it done here in GridVision Superspeedways tonight. Let's take a look at the unofficial race results again. The keyword unofficial. Already 5 different drivers already called to the hauler. Levine, Bounty, Babcock, Snyder, and Post in the top 5. Then it's McGinley, Mantle, and Wise on the lead lap. Austin Runkle finished the lap down in 9th. Jonathan Platt finishes 2 down in 10th.
Burnham finishes 2 down 11th. Mark McFadden 12th. Scott Warren in 13th. South 14th. Murphy 15th. Sheik 16th. Silva in 17th. And, of course, Mike Burnett in 18th.
Oh, by the way, for those wondering, Justin Levine was trying to use the rocket pad that used to exist there. They fixed that discreetly. They did? Yes, they did.
Wow. That was recently you could still do that.
Yes, they fixed it in a patch. We'll take a break. When we come back, speak with your top runners. You're watching GridVision. Welcome back to GridVision, to tonight's coverage of GridVision Superspeedways, where we spent Monday in a pack. Post-race coverage getting underway. Timothy Babcock in third, Sean Bounty second, Justin Levine taking the win tonight. Several drivers discussing things as we look to see what they have to say here. Brian, what do you have to say first of all about tonight?
Oh, it was wildly entertaining, definitely very enjoyable. Of course, we had our fair share of controversy as well, and not a surprise. I mean, these races do usually provoke a lot of controversy. I'm sure we'll get it all ironed out. But it looks like we got our guest ready to talk.
Yes, let's talk first with Timothy Babcock. Timothy, it's a top three tonight. How was it from your perspective?
It was a lot of fun. We had some really close racing right there the last 30 laps or so. Couldn't ask for a better finish there. I just seen I lost by 200ths or something like that, but it was pretty good. My hands are still shaking a little bit. It was we had a lot of fun there. I want to thank GridVision for putting on that awesome broadcast and you guys calling it the way you guys did. I appreciate it.
So in turn with this, how would you describe the trying to set things up, trying to get that race lead, and then calamity behind you where Levine ends up being the only one with help left as everybody else's help gets into the big one?
Yeah. The cars were very touchy. I don't know what it was. The steering wheel had us clocked over to like the 10:30, 11 o'clock range. So down the straightaways, the cars wandered really bad. I definitely went to go for the lead earlier in the race and overclocked it. And I think it was the 15 car I hit and sent him through the infield. But yeah, Justin was pushing me there and he told me to take it to the middle. And we were hoping Bounty might have hung out a little longer to anticipate that run, but it didn't work out that way.
So in turn, or close run for you up towards the front in the end. Next time out, it's back to Atlanta. How do you feel about that racetrack now? Because you get to run it in the Cup cars next.
That's my favorite super speedway track these days. I actually prefer it in this car more than anything, but the next gen car is probably my second favorite there. We're running it in the next gen or the Gen 6 car?
Next gen.
Next gen. Yeah, I look forward to that a lot.
Anyone who want to give a shout out to tonight?
No, I think that's it. James South for good pushing. The 43 there, Platt, he pushed me a lot too. So and also Heath, we all work pretty good together, although we're not officially a team.
Well, congratulations on the top three tonight, Timothy.
Thank you.
Timothy Babcock gets third place tonight. Sean Bounty, second place tonight by 14 1/1000ths of a second. He's with Brian.
Sean, definitely great job to you tonight, man. Really good points day. You haven't gotten a victory this season, but you've been incredibly consistent when it comes to points. I mean, what did you need to beat Levine?
I really couldn't tell you. I think right there at the end, we ran as good as we could do. Chad gave me one hell of a drive. We worked on a plan for that last restart, and we were going to commit to the middle and try to keep it and hold it for as long as we could. We felt like that was the way to go without the outside getting too good of a run. And right there at the end, everybody was pinballing off of each other. And when I lost Chad off my bumper a little bit, we lost all the momentum we had to get that 14,000ths of a second.
Yeah. It was incredibly close, but still, I mean, a very consistent day for you. I mean, you started in fourth place and you stayed up towards the front pretty much the entire race. I mean, didn't ever see you really involved in any major crashes. Did you still have your faster pair?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, first half of the race, I was just committed to the bottom. Whenever there's a wreck, and there was one big one in front of me, and I almost went down to the inside wall on the backstretch to miss the wreck early in the race. But yeah, just hanging out in the bottom, not really hanging too far back or trying to push it at all, and just kind of cruising for a while. So second half of the race, just kicked it into gear and started pushing it, see what we could do, and forming a little bit of teamwork. And with the way these setups are, you really have to have some from friends out here. And I think there's like 3 solid teams. Sometimes we get scrambled up, and you could tell we're trying to unscramble each other to get back with your buddies. So it's
Yeah.
fun and weird and exhausting, but it was, I'm glad we had a great end to this race.
Yeah, it definitely was fun to watch for sure, and good points day for you. I think you're going to extend your points lead even further. Of course, next week we're going to be heading back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, or Atlanta Superspeedway, as everybody has essentially dubbed it, for the next gen. How do you feel about that racetrack?
I love Atlanta in the next gen. I'm not too fond of it with the other cars. I'm most comfortable with the next gen car. I love that car. And if they haven't changed anything too drastically, I'll just be having fun there.
All right. Well, we look forward to having fun as well. Sean, who can we shout out after your second place finish?
Right now, I just gotta love GridVision. They're putting on a good show. We need to get more people out here. If anybody's watching, get off your couch and pick up a wheel. We love you guys.
All righty. Thanks, Sean, and we'll see you later, brother. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And then Sean Bounty coming away second place tonight. First place going to Justin Levine. How about that? 2 for 2.
Feels great.
Talk us through the move to get yourself the win tonight.
I wasn't trying to go for the win until I started overheating there and Tim cleared my nose. My goal was to get Tim out front. Once Tim got out front, I started blinking and I felt like we were going to go backwards. Heat and I didn't know if we had any help behind him. So I yelled in Discord for Tim to make a move, and all of a sudden the top started rolling again. And thanks to Heat and I think Randy in the back, we just had a major run off of 4 there coming through the tri-oval and somehow barely beat both of them to the line there.
In turn, though, it was an eventful one where you're involved in a couple incidents. How would you describe that fight back to get yourself back in this conversation for the win, or for at least to help Timothy Babcock, which was the original goal, after the troubles early?
It's always a fight. No matter what, at Superspeedways, it's just at 200 miles an hour, and everything just kind of fell into place. Nobody really came to the third line to stop us, which I was pretty surprised. Somebody was just gun-ho to push Sean there, and I think if one of them tried to throw a block or anything, it would just change the complete dynamic of what we were trying to do there. But everybody just kind of got out of our way, and I just held my line and had good push there. And I got to thank Heath for that.
Now, have to ask, now that SSRL Cup Series action coming to a close now for the fall, what's the focus now like for this series to confirm?
Oh, I'm here every week.
There's the confirmation. Just wanted the verbal confirmation. Who would you like to give a shout out to this one?
You guys. Thank God for you guys. One of the best broadcasters. Always love going back watching everything you guys do, and I gotta thank everybody for being here. We're gonna work some stuff out and make the racing better for everybody, so everyone could have fun and a good time. But and also the viewers, can't thank them enough for tuning in.
Well, congratulations once again on the victory tonight, Justin.
Thank you.
Justin Levine gets the job done tonight. Thank him, Sean Bounty, Timothy Babcock, for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on GridVision. Now, of note, multiple drivers sent to the hauler for tonight's action as a result of some of the incidents here this evening to talk about. Already, all the back row bandit drivers, James Self, Timothy Babcock, all to the hauler after tonight's festivities. Your thoughts, Brian, on this one as a whole as we get ready for a busy week?
Yeah, no. Definitely going to be an interesting one for sure. I mean, to be a fly on the wall in that all that hauler. That's all I got to say. And what a great race. Looking forward to next week. Definitely.
What are you looking most forward to, though, and what's coming up this week?
That's definitely a solid question. I mean, I guess I got to say I'm looking forward to RGR. I've been really, really enjoying those races. It just scratches that statistic itch for me. In
turn, that's a part of that on Sunday, where you see that second champion logo at Iowa. That's That's a part of 3 short tracks in the final 4 races to their season as well. You also have Kentucky, Atlanta, Silverstone amongst the respective series for Champion, SSRL, and Majors coming up throughout the rest of the week. So the hauler has plenty of members in it, but it's Justin Levine who becomes the multi-race winner club member. He's the first in the history of this series. With that being said, it's time to say goodbye for the rest of this evening. For my co-announcer Brian Britt, for our producer Austin Jarby-Shire, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching GridVision Superspeedways presented by First Coast Fleet Services, where we spent Monday at a pack. See you next time from Atlanta.